The value that can be built from what you do control far outweighs all the value you'll ever collect from fortune. Belief and faith are two different things. Deliberation costs can outweigh opportunity costs. Lessons from an arsonist. I'm shaking as I type this. I'm legitimately afraid of the apartment burning down, but that's not why I'm shaking. I'm just really cold. It's funny how we have to go to the fringes to learn the mundane. Most of psychology is informed by the study of psychological abnormality. I suppose that's changing a lot these days with all the data we gathered from phones and can run statistical analyses on. Nonetheless, a really extreme circumstance, like serial arson, can still amplify a whisper of psychological truth. It's probably true that the lingering fear, followed by sudden cold and then shaking, increased my adrenal output and made me shake more than normal. I definitely feel amped up. See, I have this tradition of a cold shower after my run every morning, kind of a poor man's ice bath. There's a practicality to it in that I want to get the sweat and dirt off me, but I do it cold for the same reason I do the run. I hate it. That's my formula. Wake up and do something you hate, something you dread, something difficult and uncomfortable. I like to start the day out bold and desensitized. If you haven't read my best book, Augmenting Willpower, go look it up on Amazon or Audible. We're all a little wimpy in the morning, especially me. I try to talk myself out of that cold shower almost every day, but I've been at it for a while, and actions shape character, so a simple "I don't feel like it" doesn't cut it anymore, and my inner bitch gets more and more creative. Gotta do that prep work I neglected last night, or respond to an urgent text, or write something important down before I forget it. Need to leave the house for a quick errand, so I'm just gonna get dirty again, right? Might as well skip it, or at least delay a little. Nope. Man up and get it done. Well, I live in an apartment in the middle of a crime-ridden cesspool of a city, and junkies regularly smoke fentanyl behind our dumpster, and then the landlord regularly chases them off. A couple weeks ago, he got in a shouting match with one, and the stranger left in a rage, only to return that night and set their surrounding plant life on fire, which we have on camera. It was a big deal with the fire department, police, and all. Fast forward to yesterday morning, he came back and did it again. The neighbor has a carpet business and leaves his pads and rugs leaning against the wall outside. Burnt to a crisp, fire truck, etc. 4 p.m. rolls around and it's round 3, this time a tree. Caught it early enough to put it out myself, but not early enough to find the punk, so now I'm a cuckoo clock poking my head out the window every hour. So here we are the next morning, I'm back from the run, and it's time to suffer under some cold water, but wait, I should probably check outside first, right? I know I was just out there, but after I got inside, I used the restroom for a couple minutes, so who knows? If he lights us up right now and I get in the shower instead of catching him in the act, the consequences could be devastating. Fear is the most powerful emotion because it's the most essential to short-term survival. If I smelled smoke and heard crackling, nothing could have stopped me from checking outside, and that's entirely proper for our species, or you and I wouldn't exist right now. Emotions have their reasons, and fear can occasionally be the most rational. So obviously my inner bitch, which wanted to delay the shower, was thrilled to find this new ally today. I knew it was an excuse, but not a bullshit one either. But then it never is it? All the reasons we do the things we're supposed to do are based in something real, aren't they? It's always a matter of prioritization, of making a choice between values. In this case, showering was irrational and checking outside was cowardice. So I made the irrational choice and got in the shower. I put the distraction in its place yet again by drying off completely, getting dressed, and tying my shoes before going to check, because I knew I'd do a smoother job of it now than I would after seeing the place ablaze. Even though, rationally, acquiring knowledge of a life-threatening conflagration should outrank being properly shod in terms of urgency. But imagine running downstairs and tripping over a shoelace. That wouldn't exactly help you survive. There's a lot of shifting gray area in the realm of value judgments. If you don't draw some hard lines, you'll either be paralyzed by analysis or tossed randomly about by the wind, and your behavior won't be consistent enough to accomplish anything remarkable. So now I understand the value of faith, and how it differs from belief. Belief happens after a judgment has been rendered. It compels a course of action you are unable to consciously deviate from. Faith, on the other hand, is to take action despite the irresolution of judgment. It's prejudicial, deliberately ignorant. It's putting blinders on to potentialities, building walls against unknown variables, and performing actions grounded not in immediate truth, but in historically useful principles. It's always been clear to me how easily that can go wrong, but today I also see its value. Deliberation costs can outweigh opportunity costs. Sometimes you just have to set hard rules and adhere firmly to your rituals, partially for the sake of efficiency, partially for the sake of sanity and confidence. If you decide to learn a new Japanese phrase every day at noon without fail, then you can trust that you'll eventually speak Japanese, even if you're late to a few appointments and miss a few phone calls. The value that can be built from what you do control far outweighs all the value you'll ever collect from fortune. Wherever there's a regular point of friction in your life, make it a rule to snuff it out. If that rule causes its own problems that are just as big, alter it. But as long as it works, just boldly, irrationally stick to the rule and take action. Life's too short for hesitation. So it wouldn't be fair to mention faith without mentioning religion, right? Adherence to a religion has social benefits, as discussed in 2 previous episodes, and it also somewhat assuages the fear of death. But now we can see a third comfort it brings. You don't have to look before you leap. I still think it's insane to follow someone else's value system, but I get why people do it. It's a lot more efficient to visit a dealership than it is to reinvent the automobile. Not everybody has the brain power to work life out for themselves, and not everybody has a need to. Go ahead and shut your God out because other humans claim he said his final words. Pretend he gave you a brain of your own just so you could follow orders written by other brains he's talked to. Let there be no more light. Hey guys, quick note before I go. I know some of these podcast topics are a little goofy, so if you like the way I think, but you really want to take advantage of the best of what my brain has to offer, look up my books on Amazon or Audible. My first book, Augmenting Willpower, is a field manual for human psychology that emphasizes personal accountability, while my second book, An Idea is Not a Product, is a guide for building routines and systems that force you to put your money where your mouth is. Both titles are available in all formats, so you can listen to the audio on the go, easily search topics by keyword in the ebook, and the paperback fits right in your pocket.